Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Thursday morning. Brian Kelly, the LSU Tigers, land what I think personally, from what I've seen from these offensive tackles early in 2026, I think they land one of the more impressive ones in Brysten Martinez from the state of Louisiana. Now, we all know what this means. I mean, these kind of recruiting wins for elite line of scrimmage players, they mean something on the high school recruiting trail. We talk all the time. It's hard to find starting caliber tackles in the transfer portal. You want to get them from the high school ranks. LSU does so with Bryson Martinez. Before we get too much into the football player here, I want to start with where this LSU program is at in terms of talent acquisition. Number one, locking down the state of Louisiana early in 2026. You let a few players in the state last cycle get out of state, most notably a guy like Jakeem Stewart. LSU does not want that to happen in 2026, and they are getting on these kids early in the state, and they're locking up the commitments, and these commitments are much easier to hold on to because they're in the state. You're going to get in front of them a lot, have them on campus, clean up your backyard first, then go out across the country and land the rest of the guys you want. That's exactly what LSU is doing, which I'm a big fan of. Secondly, and I was kind of thinking about this a couple of days ago, and now I think it's worth having this conversation. You lose out on Bryce Underwood in that 2025 class late in the cycle, and at the time stung in a massive way. For it might still sting for some LSU fans, right? Bryce Underwood, very, very impressive quarterback prospect. Was this the kick in the pants that LSU needed as a program? Where you lose out on Bryce Underwood, that hurts. But all of a sudden, this team in the transfer portal, what they're doing on the recruiting trail, it feels a little bit different. To me, we all know the potential that this program can be in terms of talent acquisition. Losing out on Bryce Underwood was, seemingly the it kind of lit a fire under the butt of this Brian Kelly and this LSU program in what they've done the last 2 months in talent acquisition. It's been elite. They're operating like a national championship caliber program. So yes, it sucks to lose Bryce Underwood. It's almost like a blessing in disguise here because what LSU has done since then has been arguably, I think they had the most impressive transfer portal cycle, off to a very good start in 2026. It's almost a blessing in disguise for this LSU program. Now, I want to get into Bryson Martinez, a guy that is just such a straight up box checker, not only from the physical traits, and this is what you love, and it's hard to find, right? You can see offensive tackles that have a lot of good traits you like. It's hard to find the really traitsy offensive tackles that also seem to kind of check out on the film. Bryson Martinez does in a big way. I mean, you're talking about 6'6", 290 pounds, ton of length in the arms, but is also a phenomenal athlete that gets out of his stance extremely efficiently. That's a guy that's light on his feet. It's hard to find guys who are 6'6", 6'7", that have the feet that Bryson Martinez does, probably because of the basketball background. These are my favorite kind of offensive tackle prospects. The guys that carry their weight well, probably need to add a little bit more, but have the ideal frame. Because he's going to get on campus to LSU. They're going to put the weight on the right way, maintain that athleticism. Then you're looking at a 6'6", 315-pound, really good athlete. Those are the tackles that play at a high level, especially in the SEC. Want to get into some of the film before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the LSU fans. It was really fun talking this team in the portal. I think it's going to be really fun talking about this team in 2026 as well. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I want to start with just the physical traits before we get into the film, right? 6'6", up to 290. When you turn on the film, the first thing that stands out to me is how devastating the length and power in the hands are. When he gets hands on opposing defensive linemen, they just don't get off his blocks. He's extremely imposing. The second thing you see is, he gets his hands on linemen or defensive linemen extremely well because he fires out of his stance. A lot of these other tackles that we look at coming out of high school who might be the physical traits that Bryson Martinez has in terms of looking like Bryson Martinez, they don't get out of their stance. They're not very explosive, coordinated athletes. Bryson Martinez is that. So you combine the size and the length and the frame that he has with the athleticism and power in the hands. To me, outside of the two tackles at the top, and Emmanuel Chano and Jackson Camwell, there's not many tackles I like so far in this process more than Bryson Martinez. you start getting into the film, and again, there's so much to like. And he's played a lot of football too, right? Started as a freshman at the varsity level, playing right tackle, moved over to left. Yeah, that's the first thing you see. He gets out. I mean, the first one out of his stance. We're talking 6'6", 290. First one out of his stance. When he gets hands on defensive linemen, I mean, it's that length, it's the power in the hands. He just wins at the point of attack and plays with exceptional leverage too, which is very hard for guys who go 6'6", 290 pounds. I mean, that's textbook. That's what you want it to look in a textbook. This is one of my favorite reps. We're down by the goal line. We just got to move bodies off the line of scrimmage. Look at the pad level here for 6. I mean, talking 6'6", and he's winning with leverage. That is, to me, exactly what you're looking for. You're getting the guy with all the frame in the world that knows how to play with leverage. You see what he can do as an athlete, really light on his feet, really strong anchor. To me, it's boxes checked all the way around. He can get it done in the run blocking department, plays attacking that outside shoulder, winning on the outside shoulder. Good run blocker, plenty good athlete to be in pass pro. And you don't see a ton of pass pro because this is a team that's a run heavy team, but man, is he an absolute mauler. But with the 6'6" athletic frame, there ain't many better tackle prospects in 2026 that I've seen than Bryson Martinez. And these are the positions that you want to make sure you win at the high school ranks, because it's really hard to address it in the transfer portal. You look at LSU in the 2026 class, you love what they're doing in the state of Louisiana. All six commitments are in the state. You got a couple guys, 3 guys along the lines of scrimmage. So you half your class is line of scrimmage athletes. This is where it gets exciting for me. LSU doing a really good job early. Look at all this talent in the state of Louisiana in the 2025 class, or 2026 class, excuse me. And it sounds like LSU's probably in the lead for a lot of these guys. If you can go and sweep the state here, you're going to finish with a top 5 class in the country. There's no doubt about it. Lamar Brown, about as polished as an interior, and I think he could play tackle too if he wanted to. Blaine Bradford, I mean, talk about fits in the Coach Baker defense. Blaine Bradford, that guy that I think even could switch to linebacker as that frame physically matures. It's going in the right direction for LSU. And to me, I just look at it, it seems like it all started with Bryce Underwood decommitting from LSU. LSU fans were very upset in the moment, and I get it. Bryce Underwood's awesome. Ever since that day, they dominated the transfer portal. They're off to a great start in 2026. That was the kick in the pants that I think LSU needed to maximize itself as a program on the talent acquisition front. And I think they got the coaching staff now. I think Brian Kelly probably missed early with his coaches, especially on the defense side of the football. The coaching staff's right. I think the talent is coming into this program. When you have coaches that can develop players and you have talent coming into a program, chances are you're going to win a lot of football games. And I think that is what the future looks like for LSU going forward. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. Huge fan of Bryson Martinez, and we'll talk to y'all later.